When we talk about non-attachment, we're diving into a concept that is both profound and transformative. Non-attachment doesn't mean detachment or indifference. Instead, it's about finding freedom in our relationships with people, things, and experiences. It's about understanding the impermanence of all things and letting go of our rigid expectations and desires. Firstly, consider our attachments to material possessions. We live in a world that often equates success and happiness with the accumulation of wealth and objects. However, these attachments can lead to suffering because they create a dependency on external factors for our inner peace. We become anxious about losing what we have or not acquiring what we want. By practicing non-attachment, we recognize that our true worth and happiness do not depend on material things. We can enjoy what we have without being enslaved by it. Imagine the lightness of being able to appreciate your possessions without the constant fear of losing them. How would your life change if you could release this fear? Next, consider our attachments to people. We naturally form bonds with family, friends, and partners, which are essential for a fulfilling life. However, when these attachments become possessive or controlling, they can lead to pain and disappointment. Non-attachment in relationships means loving and caring for others while respecting their freedom and individuality. It means understanding that people will change, and sometimes they may leave. This doesn't diminish our love, but rather purifies it, making it more selfless and genuine. Reflect on your closest relationships. Are there moments when your attachment causes you to suffer? How might these relationships improve if you practice non-attachment? We also need to address our attachment to outcomes. We all have goals and aspirations, and while it's important to strive for them, becoming overly attached to specific outcomes can lead to frustration and despair. Non-attachment teaches us to focus on our efforts rather than the results. It's about doing our best and then letting go of the need to control the outcome. This doesn't mean we become passive. Rather, we become more resilient and adaptable. When we are not fixated on a particular result, we are open to new possibilities and can flow with life's changes more gracefully. Think about a goal you are currently pursuing. How much of your happiness depends on achieving it exactly as you envisioned? What if you could find peace in your efforts, regardless of the outcome? Lastly, let's consider our attachment to our own thoughts and beliefs. We often hold on to our opinions and viewpoints as if they define who we are. This attachment can create rigidity and conflict, both within ourselves and with others. Non-attachment to our thoughts means recognizing them as transient and not necessarily reflective of our true self. It allows us to stay open-minded, to listen deeply, and to grow. By letting go of the need to be right or to cling to a particular belief, we create space for wisdom and understanding to flourish. Have you ever experienced a moment when letting go of a firmly held belief brought you a sense of peace and clarity? How might embracing non-attachment to your thoughts change your interactions and inner life? Embracing impermanence and cultivating inner peace. In this part, we will explore the deep wisdom of embracing impermanence and how it relates to non-attachment. Life is inherently transient, and recognizing this truth can profoundly transform our approach to living. Impermanence is a fundamental aspect of our existence. Everything we experience, from our emotions to the natural world, is in a constant state of flux. By embracing this reality, we can begin to let go of our need to control and cling to what we perceive as permanent. This understanding is at the core of non-attachment. When we accept that change is inevitable, we can approach life with a sense of openness and flexibility. Think about a time when you faced a significant change. Did resisting that change bring you peace, or did it create more suffering? How might accepting impermanence have altered your experience? One of the most profound applications of embracing impermanence is in our emotional lives. Our feelings are temporary, yet we often act as if they define us permanently. When we experience joy, we want to hold on to it forever. When we experience pain, we fear it will never end. Non-attachment to our emotions means recognizing them as passing states. This doesn't mean we suppress or ignore them. Rather, we observe them without becoming overwhelmed. By doing so, we can navigate our emotional landscape with greater ease and stability. How would your life change if you could witness your emotions without being swept away by them? What if you could see each emotion as a wave in the ocean, rising and falling but never lasting forever? Our relationships also benefit from this understanding of impermanence. Non-attachment allows us to love deeply without trying to possess or control the other person. It frees us to appreciate the moments we share without the fear of loss overshadowing our interactions. When we accept that relationships will evolve and change, we can engage with others more fully and authentically. We stop trying to force people into fixed roles and instead allow them to grow and change alongside us. Think about a relationship that has changed over time. Did resisting these changes bring you closer to the person, or did it create distance? How might embracing the natural flow of relationships enhance your connections? Our attachment to identities and roles can also be a source of suffering. We often define ourselves by our jobs, social status, or even our past experiences. While these aspects can shape us, they do not constitute our true essence. Non-attachment to these identities means recognizing that we are more than the roles we play. This understanding can liberate us from the pressure to conform to certain expectations and allow us to explore our true selves. Have you ever felt constrained by a role or identity you felt you had to maintain? What freedom might you find in letting go of these labels and exploring who you are beyond them? Embracing impermanence also changes our relationship with time. We often rush through life, trying to achieve and accumulate, driven by a fear of missing out or running out of time. Non-attachment to time means living fully in the present moment. It means appreciating the here and now without being preoccupied with the future or burdened by the past. This presence can bring a deep sense of peace and fulfillment. How often do you find yourself distracted by thoughts of the past or future? What might you discover if you fully immersed yourself in the present moment? By embracing impermanence, we cultivate a sense of inner peace that is not dependent on external circumstances. We learn to find stability within ourselves, regardless of the changes happening around us. This inner peace is a cornerstone of non-attachment and allows us to live with greater clarity and compassion. How might your life transform if you could let go of the need to control and instead flow with the natural rhythms of existence? What new possibilities might emerge from this state of inner peace? The liberation of letting go. Freeing the self from the illusion of control. In this segment, we delve into the liberation that comes from letting go of the illusion of control. Many of us spend our lives trying to control our environment, our relationships, and even our thoughts. We believe that by exerting control, we can achieve happiness and avoid suffering. However, this need for control often leads to frustration and anxiety because it is based on the false premise that we can manage the uncontrollable. The first step towards liberation is recognizing the limits of our control. Life is unpredictable, and despite our best efforts, we cannot guarantee specific outcomes. Non-attachment teaches us to focus on our actions and intentions rather than the results. When we let go of the need to control outcomes, we can engage more fully in the process, finding joy and fulfillment in the journey itself. Consider a time when you were deeply invested in a particular outcome. Did obsessing over the result enhance your experience, or did it create stress? How might shifting your focus to the present moment have changed your experience? Our desire to control often stems from fear. We fear the unknown, failure, and loss. By practicing non-attachment, we confront these fears head-on. We learn to trust in the flow of life and our ability to adapt to whatever comes our way. This trust reduces our anxiety and opens us to new experiences and opportunities. Imagine living without the constant fear of things not going as planned. How much more freedom and peace would you experience if you embraced uncertainty and trusted in your resilience? In relationships, the need to control can manifest as trying to change others or dictating how they should behave. This approach can lead to tension and conflict. Non-attachment in relationships means respecting others' autonomy and allowing them to be who they are. It involves accepting that we cannot control another person's actions or feelings. This acceptance fosters healthier, more authentic connections. Reflect on a relationship where you have tried to exert control. Did it bring you closer to the person, or did it create distance? How might your relationships improve if you allowed others to be themselves without trying to change them? Our attachment to control also affects our self-image. We often try to control how others perceive us, striving to maintain a certain image. This can be exhausting and inauthentic. Non-attachment to our self-image means embracing our true selves with all our imperfections. It means being honest and vulnerable, which can lead to deeper and more meaningful connections. Think about the energy you expend trying to manage others' perceptions of you. How might your life change if you let go of this need and allowed yourself to be seen as you truly are? Furthermore, our attachment to control can impede our personal growth. When we rigidly adhere to our plans and expectations, we may miss out on opportunities for growth and learning that come from unexpected experiences. Non-attachment encourages us to stay open and curious, embracing life's surprises as opportunities rather than threats. Reflect on a time when an unexpected event led to personal growth. How might your life be different if you had resisted this change instead of embracing it? Another aspect of letting go involves our attachment to past experiences and future expectations. We often carry the weight of past regrets and the burden of future anxieties. Non-attachment helps us release these burdens by focusing on the present moment. It teaches us that the past is gone and the future is yet to come, and the only reality we can influence is the present. How often do you find yourself dwelling on the past or worrying about the future? What might you discover if you fully embrace the present moment, free from these attachments? By letting go of the illusion of control, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. We learn to flow with life, finding peace and joy in the present moment. This liberation allows us to live more authentically and connect more deeply with ourselves and others. How might your life transform if you release the need to control and instead embrace the natural unfolding of events? What new possibilities and freedoms might emerge from this practice of non-attachment? The art of living, integrating non-attachment into everyday life. In this final part, we explore how to integrate the practice of non-attachment into our daily lives, creating a harmonious existence that reflects our deepest values and aspirations. Non-attachment is not a distant ideal, but a practical approach to living that can transform every aspect of our lives. One of the most significant areas where we can practice non-attachment is in our daily routines and habits. Our days are often filled with tasks and activities that we approach with a sense of urgency and importance. By incorporating non-attachment, we shift our perspective from the outcome of these tasks to the quality of our actions. This means being fully present and engaged in whatever we are doing, whether it's work, chores, or leisure. Imagine approaching your daily activities with a sense of ease and presence. How might this change your experience of even the most mundane tasks? Practicing non-attachment also means being mindful of our thoughts and reactions. Our minds are constantly generating thoughts, many of which are repetitive and unhelpful. By observing our thoughts without becoming entangled in them, we can maintain a sense of inner peace and clarity. This practice, often referred to as mindfulness, allows us to respond to situations with greater wisdom and compassion rather than reacting out of habit. Consider a situation where you felt overwhelmed by your thoughts. How might mindfulness and non-attachment have helped you navigate that moment with greater ease? Another practical aspect of non-attachment is how we handle success and failure. In our pursuit of goals, we often attach our self-worth to our achievements. This can lead to a roller coaster of emotions, where we feel elated with success and devastated by failure. Non-attachment teaches us to view success and failure as temporary and external events that do not define our true selves. This perspective allows us to remain balanced and resilient, regardless of external circumstances. Think about a recent success or failure. How did it affect your sense of self? What might change if you viewed these events through the lens of non-attachment? Our interactions with others are another area where non-attachment can be profoundly beneficial. We often approach relationships with expectations and desires, which can lead to disappointment and conflict. By practicing non-attachment, we learn to appreciate others for who they are, without imposing our expectations on them. This creates a more genuine and harmonious connection. Reflect on a relationship where your expectations have caused tension. How might practicing non-attachment improve this relationship and bring greater understanding and harmony? Non-attachment also applies to our goals and aspirations. While it's important to have dreams and work towards them, becoming overly fixated on specific outcomes can lead to frustration and burnout. Non-attachment encourages us to set intentions and take action while remaining open to the unfolding of events. This approach allows us to pursue our goals with passion and dedication, without being derailed by setbacks or changes in direction. Consider a goal you are currently working towards. How might your approach change if you practice non-attachment to the outcome, focusing instead on the process and your growth along the way? Finally, integrating non-attachment into our lives means cultivating an attitude of gratitude and acceptance. When we appreciate what we have and accept life as it is, we reduce our cravings and aversions. This doesn't mean we stop striving for improvement, but rather that we do so from a place of contentment and peace. Gratitude and acceptance help us to see the beauty in the present moment and to live more fully. How often do you take time to appreciate what you have? What might change in your life if you practiced more gratitude and acceptance? In conclusion, non-attachment is a powerful practice that can transform our lives in profound ways. By letting go of our rigid expectations and desires, we create space for peace, joy, and authentic connection. This practice helps us to navigate the challenges of life with greater wisdom and resilience, and to live in harmony with our true selves. How might your life be different if you fully embrace the practice of non-attachment? What new possibilities and freedoms might emerge from this way of living? Thank you for joining us on this journey. May you find peace and fulfillment in the practice of non-attachment, and may it bring you closer to your true self and to those around you.